fine. Rachel, do you get a game today? Have I ever given you a game before? I saw the radio broadcast. Ian, wait. Where is it? Truth Seekers. Where is it? It got buried because I started getting excited about other things. Wait. Justice for Gunther, is it there? No.
So Rachel, I think he's getting you a game. If he is, please send your email to him in the private chat.
Yeah. Send me a private message with your email. I'll give you a game. Where is the game? There's the game. Let's find if. Let's go to the store. Come on. Take me to the store. There we are.
Anybody else hearing thunder besides me?
No. Okay. Did you guys all heard that, right? No? Yes? No?
What did we hear?
Oh, I was watching a preview for this game that I'm about to give to Rachel. Okay, copy. And you are the proud owner of something called Shyness, the Lightning Kingdom.
Ooh.
Shyness is an action RPG developed by indie development studio Enigami, which will let you travel in a captivating universe doomed to destruction ever since the fragmentation of planet Mahara. So there you go. It's $10 on Steam right now. All the rest of you who are jealous of Rachel. You're welcome. Okay, so tomorrow, you're invited at 3 p.m. to talk about the 3 p.m. ARG that you played. Okay. So at 3 p.m., everyone in the meeting, Control V. That is the Zoom meeting at 3 p.m. It's not required that you come, but if you want to talk about the ARG that you played with the people who made it, is when we're going to talk about it. And this is a common thing with ARGs because it's so secretive, because you stumble on these things on the internet, and there's always is this just a weird thing or is this an ARG kind of thing that if you have class, that's fine, go to class. It's absolutely not required, but you're all invited so that we can talk about their ARG, and they can ask you questions and you can ask them questions like, what was that supposed to be? And did I get this right? Was the carrot cake supposed to be poison? Whatever. So yes, they are very curious about all of you. They want to hear what the hell happened on Saturday. It seems like. So come at 3. And the other thing I want to ask you to do, since you were all playing, and I've asked them to do the same thing, since you were playing together, pick an MVP. All right. This is someone who played all days or most of the days. They don't necessarily have to be in the class, but who solved puzzles? Who came through in the clinch? Who put the pieces together and allowed you all to progress when nobody else could figure anything out? Usually that's a pretty clear choice. And you guys know it better than I do, right? So I'm going to let you all pick your most valuable player. Okay? And I'm going to ask you that tomorrow, and I'm going to ask you why. And hopefully somebody will have an answer for me. Feel free to talk about it in the Discord or whatever back channels y'all have, so that I will give a prize to that most valuable player. Normally, I give swag that I pick up at PAX or at GDC, or some years when I've gone to E3, I picked up swag there. There were people playing. Yes, absolutely. There were people outside your class that were playing on both sides, because they have the analytics that shows they followed who was looking at their blogs, and they were getting hits from Vietnam, from Russia. Maybe they were bots. I don't know, but they were getting hits from all over the world. And I don't know. Maybe some of you are in Russia right now, zooming in. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. You're all Russian bots, and these are pre-recorded little videos that it's all just a bot farm to steal the election. Yes, I found you out, Jared. You're all just trying to build your credentials online, so that when you start posting Trump 2020 in November, everybody will say, well, they've been around for anyway. Oh, I got political. Oops. So anyway, you know who that person is. I will also give a prize for the person who was the first to email me, and maybe some others. Normally I would give tchotchkes. One year I gave everyone 50-cent blood in the sand, because why wouldn't you? Actually, because I was at GameStop and they were 50 cents a piece. So I bought 20 of them and gave them to everybody. One year I gave Korean MMOs to everybody. A bunch of different ones. So you never know, but you can probably guess they're probably leftover Humble Bundle codes. So feel free to come by and get a code. And back in the day, actually my first TA for this class, or see, Karen, you're off the hook, but my first TA for this class had extra credits on their meal plan, and went to the campus center and got ice cream for everybody in the class.
Oh, he was nice.
Yeah. He's one of the nicest guys ever. And he was my TA 2 years in a row, and he did it 2 years in a row. No, that was Dan Tennant.
Oh, okay. Long time ago.
And then I kept up that tradition for a while, depending on how much money I had at the time. But now I don't have to buy y'all ice cream, so go figure. And in fact, when I put the order in, they're always like, "You're buying ice cream for your entire class? You are so nice." And I'm like, I could just give you money, Jaden. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll Venmo you all $1. Ooh, now I'm getting the thunder.
Yeah, I heard that one too.
Well, if the power cuts out, you know what would happen. Go about your lives. So, actually, that happened during Showfest Friday night. The power went out on my computer while I had everybody in a Zoom meeting, and I was broadcasting on Twitch. And I'm texting Jennifer because she was talking and saying, "Power just went out," and she's like, "Are you coming back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it came right back, but the router's got to reboot, so give me a minute." That was kind of hilarious. Okay, so tell me about the weekend. How your ARG go? Sweet. I get one okay, and
ours went pretty well, I think.
Okay.
Everybody seemed very engaged, and they seemed pretty happy with the ending. Until somebody posted to the Reddit and made it sad.
What did they post in the Reddit?
Basically, like, it was like, "Hello, is anybody there? I'm alone. I don't like it here."
Oh.
It makes me want to cry.
I don't know. I kind of like that little add-on.
It's great, but I want to cry.
Yeah. It does make it a bit sadder, but
okay. So, were you happy with their progress over the course of the weekend? Was there a stall? Did people disappear? Did people play?
People played. We had one thing where we tried to get people to make a paper hat with the symbol on it and then post a picture of that. Mm-hmm. And only one person actually ended up making the paper hat, though I think
somebody
about 5 people
notebook on their head. Somebody had a
had the symbol
on their head. It was so fun.
So
I'm sorry, my dog
is
is scared of the thunder, so she's cringing at my feet. So I picked her up. So, but she's got to go to the vet in a minute. So, sorry. Anyway.
So yeah, that was something that didn't happen like we expected it, and also with we just tried to come up with an extra puzzle for them because they kept cracking our puzzles in like a half an hour or less. So we're like, let's try to come up with something extra and hard to stump them, and they ended up not solving it, but they were able to get to where they needed to be anyway by just trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which puzzle was that? Which puzzle was that?
That was the one with the word scramble of the cities and the distances.
Oh yeah. No, I think somebody did somebody got the word scramble. They didn't get they didn't get the distance though.
Yeah, they didn't figure out that was the distance, and I'm not sure if they figured out the 7-8p being 7 to 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently someone was able to find the broadcast coming out of a different website that also does the listening to the ham radio online.
Oh, wow.
Of a completely different location. They were listening out of DC while the puzzle was to point them to listen out of Milford.
Huh.
Yeah, that was one of my friends. They were on the triangulating points track, but then ended up not doing the rest and ended up in Washington somehow. I don't know why.
But that's cool.
Washington
Unintended
State
consequences.
Or Washington, D.C.?
Say again?
Washington State or Washington, D.C.?
DC.
Okay.
Washington State would have been ridiculously far out of the way because it was Milford, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel was the one broadcasting, and she's from Pennsylvania, so that's Pennsylvania and neighboring states are the places that actually have like decent access to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the best access point from the website was the Milford one, so we were trying to point them to the Milford because we gave them 3 town names, which they eventually got, and then the distance from that town to Milford. So if they just triangulated that point, they would have been able to figure it out. But instead, trial and error, I guess.
Yeah, well, they got there, though. It doesn't matter how they got there. And kind of cool that they figured it out by themselves.
I think my favorite skip they did was when, in the final game, they just hacked into the source code and got the password. They didn't even like try to solve it. They just hacked in and found it. That was hilarious.
I actually quite liked the final game. The clicking on the fairies. I had a good time clicking on fairies, or not clicking on fairies, clicking on cultists. And honestly, what it reminded me of was the Potato ARG, which I didn't tell you about, and I'm like, do they know about the Potato ARG? Do you guys remember?
I don't think so. We just wanted to have a cool cooperative ending.
Okay.
We just based it on the Fruit Ninja game that came out like early on iPhone, if you
right,
remember that.
but the idea that everybody should play a game together at the same time, a video game together. Also, how did you keep track of cumulative clicks?
Shane Magic. Ask him.
Because when I would post, so they would post how many clicks programming magic from Shane. They would post how many clicks we had, and it was the same number as I had just seen. Right. So something was going on there, because the chances that I would fail at exactly the same number of killed cultists as somebody else would fail seem astronomical to me. So it seemed like there were thresholds, and it would say, okay, you've got 3,421 or whatever it was. And then everybody would see that number the next time they failed the game. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So the Potato ARG was for Portal 2. And it had a really cool rabbit hole. There was a phone number that went out in some video, or I think it might have been a GDC talk on a slide. What's the guy's name who runs Valve? Gabe. Gabe gave some kind of talk, and there was a phone number on a slide, and people started calling the phone number and getting weird sounds like right. So somebody dug up a modem, an actual dial-up modem, and called the number with a dial-up modem, and found a BBS, which was the internet circa 1987. So, and it was, a text-based internet that I believe the operating system for this BBS was called GLaDOS 0.24. So they had found an early version of GLaDOS, who's the AI in Portal 2. Yes, that's the Portal character. And she's the antagonist in Portal and Portal 2. So, and then standard ARG stuff for the next 8 months, I think. But kind of cool stuff where a bunch of indie games that were on Steam suddenly would get patches, and they'd have like a new level that had Portal things in it. So I know that there was a whole new level in Amnesia, the horror game. I played that. I didn't know how to play Amnesia, but I played the Portal level. There was a new couple of puzzles in The Ball. Whoa! That's thunder.
So I'm just getting it here. I saw the light flash, and about like 6 seconds later, I heard it hit where you are, and now I'm hearing the thunder back here.
Wow.
That's very cool.
My wife just took my dog to the vet, and I guarantee you my dog is terrified.
Probably just peed the floor.
Anyway, so again, if the power goes out, you know what happened. And class is officially over at that point.
I'm in Oz.
So people started looking through all these indie games. Every time an indie game got a patch, people looked to see if there was special Portal stuff in it. And about a dozen different indie games had new Portal stuff, and each Portal thing led to a puzzle that led to online stuff, and there was all sorts of messages coming from GLaDOS. And this was in the run-up to the launch of Portal 2, right? So eventually, and there was this crowd that was playing this, and some bunch of people. There were hardcore players who were solving all the puzzles, and about a week before Portal 2 was supposed to launch on a Tuesday, about a week before, all the hardcore players, like about a dozen of them, they just disappeared. They were nowhere to be found. They weren't solving any more puzzles. They weren't doing anything. And the rest of us, we were the casuals, were like, what happened to them? What? Wow, that's kind of scary. And what had happened was Valve had contacted each of them and given them a free trip to Seattle to go to Valve and play Portal 2 in the week before it was launched. The rest of us found out that that we should play these indie games. And again, there were about a dozen of them. And they basically put up on Steam a page with a list of all the games that had participated, and a progress bar next to it. And the promise was, if we filled up all the progress bars by playing each of those games, because Steam keeps track of how many hours you play a game, right? So they didn't tell us how many hours we had to play the game, but basically, let's go play the game. If we fill up all the progress bars on all the games, they would release Portal 2 early, right? And this went live on a Friday, and Portal 2 was scheduled to be launched on Tuesday. I think Tuesday at midnight, right? So everybody's like, oh, if we play all these indie games enough, we can get it released on Saturday, and we can have all weekend playing Portal 2, or Sunday at the very worst. We can get it on Sunday, and we can spend our Sundays playing Portal 2 instead of Tuesday night at midnight when everybody has to go to work the next day, right? So everybody, so there was an organized effort to play these games, right? And you see where the parallel with the cultist thing comes in, because honestly, in the Discord, the first thing about it was we have to get 6,666 cultists. That was at 1:18. At 4 minutes later, we have 792. This should be no big deal. And that was obviously sarcasm. Like, this is going to take a while. And then we just powered through it. As more people found the game, it kind of got this exponential, so that it took, what did it take? Like 15, 20 minutes to get to 4,000. And then 5 minutes to get to 5,000, and then like 2 minutes to get to 6,000, right? So as more people got on it, we started snapping it through. And the same thing happened in this Potato ARG, where basically Friday night, the word went out, go play this first game on the list. Everybody, do it now. Well, Cult 666, I would
Oh,
there.
so for how did they know it was going to be possible to be finished within a
Oh.
like legitimate amount of time, right? Was there any kind of testing or anything like that they did?
Is that a
Yeah,
Shane question?
We were having a lot of trouble deciding what to make the value, because we had to decide whether we were going to allow people to play multiple times. So that would have a big impact. And we knew we had a couple players who were like really invested, and they would probably be bummed if they could only play once and they wouldn't win because not enough people played. So we decided to let people play multiple times. And then once we decided that, we were like, okay, it needs to be a pretty big number.
Right.
And we were debating, like, we were thinking like 6,000 was our initial number, and then we realized we had to have it discoverable by noon. So we were like, should we increase it to like 8,000, 9,000? And then we were just like, let's just increase it a little bit just to make sure that they have a good chance, because they have to figure out because we thought they had to figure out the password too, but then they just hacked the password. So
okay.
Yeah, we were expecting a bit of time for them to figure out the password, but hacking, I guess. And the 6,000 number, that was me thinking maybe like 50 points ish per game, about 30 players, guesstimating based off, because there's about like 40-ish or so people on the Discord. Maybe only 75% of them actually play a game. They play like 3 or 4 times, getting about 50 points, and that all came around to about 6,000-ish.
That was really legitimate thinking. That's for like parties and things. You only assume about 2/3 of the people are actually going to show. That was some good reasoning there.
They, according to Ben, they got to the triple digits in a single playthrough. Something weird started happening when you got over 100, because I saw 0, and then I saw 1, and then I saw 2 underneath the 100 number. And I thought, are they giving me multipliers? Yeah.
I think it was like the font was wrapping around.
Okay, maybe it looked like something weird was happening.
That's a Shane question. I'm
No,
not sure. I'm not sure
probably
if
a
we
bug.
tested that high, that
Shane
score
says
that high.
Shane says a bug. My bad.
It's all good.
Yeah. No, it was fine, but I was like, maybe that's why it's going up so quickly. Average I got over 100 and I suck. Right? I suck at video games. So I found that it was better to click on each thing once than to hold the button down and swipe. I was killing a lot of elves or fairies by holding the button down and swiping, but when I clicked, I was doing much better with cultists. So anyway, so same problem. Steam saw that first game as soon as there was a concerted effort. They didn't tell us how many hours, like total person hours, we had to play the game. It was just a bar, right? But everybody started playing, and that bar went up pretty quickly. And then it filled up, and they're like, okay, go to the next game. And people were just buying these games, which was kind of a cool thing for Steam to do, to have people buy indie games to get Portal out more quickly, right? So the first 3 games just kind of went zoop, zoop, zoop. And then I think Valve panicked because they did the math and said, at this rate, we have to release Portal 2 at the rate they're going. They will have filled up all the bars by like Saturday morning, and we'll have to release the game on Saturday morning instead of Tuesday. And from what I've read after the fact, they had contractual obligations not to release it before Monday at midnight. So the best that we could do was Monday at midnight, but they didn't tell us that. And everybody was expecting to be able to play Portal over the weekend. So suddenly, on like the 4th game, the bar started moving much more slowly. Right? And we're like, oh, we're playing. Everybody's playing, but no, the bar's not going up. So then we need more people. Right? So the call went out, come play these indie games. More people showed up. The bar started going up again. And around the 5th or the 6th game, they slowed it down again. So that by Sunday, people were mad because they had not given us a scale, and they kept changing the goal on us instead of because it's the internet, it's gamers. They saw how long it took us to fill up the first bar, and they did the calculations, and they said, this is how many people we need playing at this many hours. We can get Portal 2 out by Sunday morning. And then we couldn't. So by the time Sunday evening rolled around, all the goodwill that this ARG had generated was gone. The best players, the most dedicated players, had disappeared into the bowels of Valve. The rest of us were given a task that then they didn't play fair. They changed the goalposts on us. So we got angry. And by the time, again, toxic gamer culture, the toxic gamer culture on Tuesday was like, I don't ever want to play Portal 2. I hate Portal 2. I'm boycotting Portal 2. And that lasted 15 minutes until everybody was playing Portal 2, right? So you did better than Valve. Think about that. So I thought that was really great on your part. It was an exciting thing. I even got chided by Hyper Diamond. I don't know who that is. But Hyper Diamond, I was, you can kind of figure that clicking on this thing and it was the win condition. So who cares if the play thus far gets cluttered up, but they're like, remember this channel, keep this channel sparse so that people can catch up fast. And so I had to take my posts to some other place. So that's good. Ooh, I got that. Okay, yeah. So anything else happened today? That was everything today. There was more before that. There was the password, right?
There was the password, but like they didn't do that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the two puzzle things for today was them figuring out the password the password, the 10th dimension was from the mantra in a lot of the cultist works, transcend the 10th dimension.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you actually looked through the things and tried to figure it out, it's possible.
Honestly,
but they just kind of hacked it, bypassing it.
Figure it out. I don't know why they didn't just try to figure it out, because that was a common phrase that we had used, and like at the very beginning, like there were people who were who apparently that was a phrase that had been used in an ARG before, and people recognized it. So when they were emailing Jenny, they were like, "Oh, I haven't been to the 10th dimension in about a year now." I was like, "Oh, what?
Ooh.
This is a thing this is like a before." So I was fully expecting people to like remember it and use it for that, but no, it just didn't happen. But they just decided, nope, we're hacking.
It is a string theory thing. I'm just Googling it. Universe of 10 dimensions is on phys.org. What was it for some other ARG? Because was it for one of the class ARGs? Because I don't remember it. Doesn't ring a bell.
Ryan Keller was like, Ryan Keller said, I haven't been to the 10th dimension since exactly a year ago. Maybe it was like somebody who had taken the class before and knew it was ARG season.
Yeah, that's more likely it.
Ryan goes to WPI. Yeah. He took this class in previous years.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Still, people were like pointing it out. People had made lists of all the things, and it was like a recurring thing throughout the ARG. I don't know why they didn't like recognize it first thing. It feels like it was probably the easiest puzzle we had given them.
Yeah, no.
Remember a thing.
Right. I don't think it's that specific. I think it's just ARG season. For instance, today on Facebook, I got reminded of 2 birthdays for fictional characters that have whoever set up their Facebook pages in previous ARGs made today their birthday. And so, it's just something that happens every year. Let me see, who is it? It's Goyle Ulysses' birthday today. And it is also Oliver Matthews' birthday. Let's see, who is Goyle Ulysses? Oh, no. Oh, geez. Facebook just updated to a new UI somehow. Now I don't know. Okay, let's look at Oliver Matthews. Oliver Matthews is from 2007, apparently. Um, so he's been around since 2007. And yeah, it looks like he is friends with a bunch of former students from 2007. So, uh, well, I am never going. Oh my God, I'm never going to go to Facebook again.
Emily's wondering if you're going to keep the Discord server up or if it's going to get erased.
I'll probably keep it up until next year this time, when I'll go, what's this still doing here? And delete it.
You can transfer ownership to somebody else, and they can just keep it alive. You don't have to stay in it.
Okay, well, I'll leave it. It's fine. Before I delete it, I will post to it to say, does anybody want to take this over? But it is for the class. I mean, you guys own the Truth Seekers Discord, right?
I'm not deleting that. I'm keeping that as like an archive in case we decide for like, because we've hinted several times that like there's a sequel apparently. So we might come back to it at some point.
Well, that's a good way to do it. I'm fine with that.
The one that survived.
It's not going to be erased until nobody cares anymore. Mostly, I leave everything because 5 years from now, somebody will say, "Hey, do you still have this thing?" And I'll be like, "If you could tell me where it was, I probably do." And then I go find it. So I've had people ask for humanities projects from 20 years ago, before they were electronic, so they're not in the library archives. But I have a filing cabinet in my office, at which point I just Xerox them a copy and send it to them. So I rarely throw anything away. And let me just tell you that next year, well, that more power to you if you want to make a sequel. I find that people get excited about doing these until I'm not giving them a grade for it, and then it all falls apart. But I'm all for it. The ARG clubs have tried to start a number of times at WPI, and ARGs are hard to play. You guys should be proud of yourselves just for playing, those of you who played. They're hard to play. They're time consuming. They are thankless. I mean, the reward for most ARGs is, yay, you finished, I'm safe, right? It's not like you get a big gift. I give gifts, but nobody else does. So honestly, the reward for ARGs are the experiences we have along the way.
The friendships we make.
Yes, and the stories you can tell. So I tell all these goofy stories about stupid things that happen in ARGs, that either from school or elsewhere. Justice for Gunther, yes, and basically this class, I can't tell you all the stories that have happened to me playing ARGs at this point because there are too many of them. I used to be able, when I had 3 ARGs under my belt, I could tell you about all 3 of them. But I now have 20, 30. And even so, people are like, oh, Dean's the ARG expert at WPI. And then somebody is like, oh, did you play this ARG? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I've heard of it, but I haven't played it. I used to every summer go trolling around to pick an ARG to play. And there's no telling what's a big professional ARG and what's, honestly, I spent all one summer playing this ARG that turned out to be made by a high school kid in Iowa, all by himself. And I got a t-shirt. He bought me a t-shirt. He bought everybody who was hardcore a t-shirt. I got a bumper sticker. And it was kind of Frankenstein based, and I was like, oh, this is Frankenstein. And yeah, and I was like, hey, have you thought of applying to WPI, because we have this game program? And he was like, oh, I'm already accepted to Iowa State. I've been involved in this haunted house in my hometown every year for Halloween, and my idea was to start this ARG in the summer and have it carry on and be marketing for our haunted house on Halloween. But nobody there is thinking about the haunted house yet, and I'm about to go away to college, so I ended it. Right. And I didn't know when Gunther was the bowling ball champion who got hit with a car in the rabbit hole. It's quite possible that I would have picked up on this ARG and started playing it, and it would have been for, Gears of War. You don't know. But I picked the ARG that was made by a high school kid in Iowa, right? And I didn't know until we had this debrief, right? And that's what we're doing tomorrow. It's always, well, it's not every ARG has them, but lots of ARGs do. It is the chance where everybody gets to talk to everybody and say what they liked, what was really confusing, the makers to say what went wrong, when you did that, you totally screwed us up, and you skipped 4 puzzles, and there was no way to get you back to go find them. Oops. Right? Whoop. We didn't realize that was even in there. Or there were times when like, you were supposed to find this, and it would lead you all the way to these 6 things about this character, and you didn't find any of it, and all that stuff is really cool looking stuff, right? And this guy Bob here, he worked for months on making that stuff. No one ever saw it, and in ARG circles, we call that the heartbreak of undiscovered content, right? Because you make all this stuff and you want people to see it, and for whatever reason, they skip it. They just, or one person sees it and everybody goes, yay, moving on. Right? So justice for Bob. Yes. So come tomorrow at 3. It should be in the Discord, the Zoom thing. I will be giving prizes about the 3 o'clock ARG at 3 o'clock, and I will be giving prizes. Oh, by the way, what do you call your ARG? Is there a name for it? Justice for Bob. Jared says, not that I know of.
I don't think we have a name.
Okay, because I was calling it the Fairy ARG.
I think that's the one thing we didn't like.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't choose your own names. Your players. So for instance, that original, that first ARG about AI, everybody who made it called it the Beast, partly because it was a beast of a project. But everybody who played it called it Cloud Makers, right? And let's see. There. Where is it? You missed your chance to play a massive internet puzzle. Yeah. Where is it? The alternate. The whole thing is archived on the Cloud Makers Yahoo group. No, I don't know. It used to be at cloudmakers.org, I think. Let's see. Anyway, they called it. Nope, it's gone. It might be gone. Oh, I'm spelling it wrong too. Can't spell cloud. Cloudmakers.org. Connecting. Come on, you can do it. Nope. Anyway, so what the makers considered the whole thing, yeah, probably Wayback Machine, but it was a long running, like, we must preserve this for posterity because this was the first one and the experience was so amazing. And a big pile of the people who played that first ARG went on to basically pioneer the next 5 to 10 years of ARGs. Like, they became the makers of subsequent ARGs. So that community just kind of made a bunch of careers where people got together and formed marketing firms specifically so that they could keep making ARGs and keep playing them. And get somebody to pay them and make a living doing it. And the big struggle for that next 5 to 10 years was to figure out how to make a living doing this, because this is all they wanted to do. And no one quite figured it out, which is why ARGs nowadays are usually hobbyists. I made an ARG and come play it, and I'm not expecting any money or marketing, although that's gotten fewer and fewer and been more limited each time you see one of these big marketings. But like Westworld has an ongoing ARG every time, like the 3 months leading up to the new season of Westworld, I start getting a bunch of emails about, this time it was about the company that is in the bigger world. So anyway, you can't always control what people think your ARG is called, right? I am way over time again. So come tomorrow at 3. Again, it's an invitation, not a requirement. I would like somebody to come so that we can talk about what you played, and the makers can talk to you because they have lots of questions for you. Okay? Okay. Have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.